I am your friend, Dr. Charles Apoki. I just did a video on the Supreme Court judgment on Sunday, Jackson, and the Fulani headsmen banditry in Nigeria. Apart from the Fulani headsmen, there is a lot of criminality going on in Nigeria, and I want to address our youths and even my generation. A young man, 27-year-old young man, was alleged to have beheaded a 43-year-old man who was coming from a ceremony in Ewo Tubu community, stroke Kenwa community in Benin City on the, I think, 7th of March. He was alleged to have confronted that man with his gang, bied him, and beheaded him, decapitated him. And the vigilante in that area mobilized and was able to arrest him with fresh human head, dripping blood. And I went online and saw that some time back, internet fraudsters, Yahoo boys, criminals, were seen throwing money in the very dirty, poor, dusty streets of Tubu quarters in Benin City. That place is a public display of poverty and neglect. And these young men with their fancy second-hand cars, they are not brand new cars, second-hand cars, were throwing notes, naira notes. There are 99% chances the children of poor people. And there is another video of this particular young man throwing naira in a nightclub in Benin City. The young man with the head of the 43-year-old man that was decapitated. And I'm a social scientist. Apart from being a medical doctor, I have a master's degree in the social sciences. I've been trying to study this phenomenon in this country. And I found that there are the following reasons. Number one, poor education. Education is not certification. Education is reorientation of your brain in such a way that you are useful to yourself, to God, to society. When I was practicing, when I left school and I was teaching, I had not gone to university. I was living with a driver. He was driving for Julius Berger, and he bought refrigerator, he bought sound system, he bought all that. And my mother would tell me, see, don't look at what he is buying. Go to school. That one day, that it will take you only one day to buy everything in this house. And it turned out to be true. When I graduated, I went with my wife, then I had not married her. We went to Lagos and we bought everything that he owned in that same apartment. We bought it in one day. One day. And so the minds of our young people are not properly aligned. Somebody came here and was telling me about the so-called political breakthrough that somebody else had. For me, it didn't excite me, and I told him that that kind of money did not excite me, because the money that excites me is the money I labor, I strategize, I think, and I produce. Because for me, making money is a hobby. It is like hunting. You track the animal, then you're able to aim and shoot. The excitement, if not just making money from a patronage, political patronage, does not excite me. It makes me feel guilty. So, education, spiritual education, moral education, street education. Most of us don't have it. I don't cross lawns. I don't rush for anything. I don't rush. You don't intimidate me. You don't intimidate me. I was walking down the street to go and buy moi moi to eat, and I saw some lawyers come out of their cars with soldiers following them. The soldiers were talking to each other and making signal to me. They know me. They know me. They know me from my intellectual production. I don't know those lawyers, but if I go there, the lawyers will know me and greet me and respect me, my intelligence. So nobody intimidates me in this country, really. Nobody. Nobody intimidates me in this country. When you have solid, detailed education and you've gone to good schools and you've made a mark intellectually, nothing, these things don't fascinate you. So the standard of education, training, particularly the absence of boarding houses where people were properly trained, is. I know there are deviants. We were boarding the flight and people were rushing, and I told somebody that okay, they were to board the flight. The door to the bus that carried us there was not functional, and the somebody complained, the Catholic priest complained that why is that door not functioning? He said there's nothing wrong with it, that it is because there is no gas in it or whatever. There's nothing wrong with it. I told him, was that the way the bus was bought? And we agreed that no. I told him one of the things that is absent in Nigeria today is the absence of good boarding schools that will give you leadership training. I was a house captain at FGC Warri, Federal Government College. I had other people under me. I needed to supervise them even as a student. At Government College Ughelli, we planted our flowers, we cleaned our houses, because there was a house captain, they were prefects, so they had leadership training. And I don't rush for anything because even though they were from a poor home, government made sure there was sufficiency. My uniforms were supplied by government, the black shirt, the red singlet for Warrior House. We had a sick bay. They gave us tissue paper. They gave us Lux soap. They gave us a Dettol. They ironed our clothes for us. We ate. And so that spirit of desperation, I don't have it. And that spirit of intimidation. So, what is one of the major problems with poor education, with poverty, with dysfunctional society? If society is functional, you don't really need a car to move in most developed societies. The bus will come when it is supposed to come. The train will come when it is supposed to come. You have social security. My grandchildren in Europe, they have allowance that is paid to them. The mother, they will go to school free to PhD level. The mother receives salary even with maternity leave. So she doesn't need to steal. She doesn't need to be desperate. So dysfunctional society, poor standard of education, but most importantly, conspicuous consumption. Those boys throwing money. Those people buying. You see young boy with Venza. See young boy with this. You see some two Nigerians in Dubai that were arrested for internet fraud. Two of them, the Nigerian. Are they Nigerian Danish people? They stand in front of car, do this, do that, like as Hush Puppy was doing. No, there is the tendency in each of us as a Nigerian, including myself, to want to show, show. You know, that display puts people under pressure. I was listening to a pastor. When you honor your bishop, your spiritual father, you do this, do this, do this. And I won't share you the secret with you. In 9 months, I became a billionaire. That will put another pastor under pressure. They want to become a billionaire. And for him to become the billionaire, he needs to sow a seed. So they put young pastors under pressure. Now, Thorstein Veblen was born in 1857. He died in 1929. He used the word, he was an economist. He used the word conspicuous consumption. Conspicuous consumption is the spending of money on and in acquiring of luxury commodities, that is goods and services, specifically as a public display of economic power. They see this display as an economic means of attaining or maintaining a given social status in society. You buy the thing to maintain Gucci, whatever. You want to intimidate another person. Shirt, na body cover. Na nakedness cover. You derive a certain level of pleasure when you cross the check-in line as a first class ticket. You enter before others. Enter when they come. Or you will all end up in the lounge. You go to the executive lounge. I've stayed there before. There's no much difference. You just buy things more expensively. You enter the first class seat. They will draw curtains and cover us. I've stayed there before. It's just a glass of wine you will drink and one kind of food like that. It's not worth the difference. But you just want to prove that you are different from us, different from others. You know, I've flown first class, paid for by others. Then the plane will land at the same time. And then your luggages were not kept separately. All of us will wait and you will collect your luggages at the same time with me. And you will go out of the terminal with me. You might enter a better car, but you will get home. I will get home. I will sleep, you will sleep, and I will wake up, you will wake up. So, it is this conspicuous display that is putting our primitive minds. Our minds are primitive. Our minds are very primitive. Primitive minds compare luxury and luxury, extravagance with extravagance, not productivity, responsibility, and integrity. Developed minds think about productivity. Productivity is meeting generational expectation, integrity, and responsibility. Did I mix it up now? Integrity, productivity, and responsibility. That's what developed societies reward. Here we give chieftaincy titles to idiots. Idiots are not necessarily dull people. They are people who don't care about what happens to society. I was surprised to hear that somebody who is supposed to be in one committee in the Senate was debarred in New York. And we don't have value system. So the young man is throwing money. Every young man wants to throw money because to see people rushing for money in the street, it gives them one kind of orgasm, financial orgasm that they have. Until your mind is evolved and think about things that are honorable, things that are pure, things that have good report, Your mind will remain at the level of cars, buildings, this. I'm not a poor man by any standard. I'm not a poor man by any standard. But sometimes I get offended. I've told my children, if you want to bury me, don't spend my money burying me to entertain people. Use the money to give scholarship to children in my name. So the key issue in this case and in several cases is pressure, desperation, and conspicuous consumption as the primary factor. And then it is sustained by lack of proper values and proper education. I will be in the UK from the 13th to 1st of May. If you're in the UK, I'm looking forward to seeing you. I will land in London, Heathrow, and I plan to visit England, Scotland, Wales, and Ireland. I would like to connect with you. I want you to host me if you are a subscriber and a member of this great family. Remember, I have a webinar coming up on the on the 14th and on the 15th of March this year. And if you want to partake, send a message to +234 80 21 21 92 62. I'm thinking of doing a webinar in the UK, and we can gather, and that's the second weekend. We can gather and have a fellowship, have a live webinar where we'll be live. If you want to partake, we'll be live and we'll beam it. If you want to partake, send a message to +234 80 21 21 92 62. God bless you, and we'll have properties for sale.